Hello, people. We have Mike Guinn joining us right here on El3vation Radio Podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Hey, Mike, what's up? Just hit the request button and I'll bring you up. Hey, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just getting out of that heat, man. That Texas.
You good, man. Thank you so much for joining the live. I appreciate it.
I've been putting in work, man. Been putting in work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely. Because I know you had another podcast interview that you did before this one.
Yes, sir.
So tell me where to check that one out, your other podcast interview.
You know what? I'm going to have to look and get the details, but I'll probably send them to you. But right now, it's all about this show right here. It's all about you.
Okay. Good. Welcome to El3vation Radio Podcast, man. I'm glad that you're joining us. And you're a poetic artist. You're a poet that I discovered from Clubhouse.
Okay.
And you was on Clubhouse pretty frequently. Are you still on Clubhouse, or are you still join rooms and stuff?
Every once in a while, I'm still doing a couple of things like I do every Thursday morning. We do verbs and vibes. We feature a different poet there, and then of course, every other Wednesday I do a pop-up poetry slam, give away some free money. But other than that, man, I'm just busy booking. I mean, the world is kind of opened up. It's kind of closed down a little bit, but it's still open for me because I'm doing a lot of things via Zoom and live and conferences. So I'm busy. Plus, I have a full-time job, so not on Clubhouse as much as I used to be.
Okay, completely understandable. So, what do you do for a living, man? You say you got a full-time job.
I am a full-time social worker. I work for an organization here in Dallas City Square. And so everything you see me doing, as busy as I am, is after work.
Right.
Take an hour here, So I managed to make it work for over the last 20 years. So, yeah.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So, real quick, I want to dive deep into your poetry, and I want to dive deep into how long you've been doing spoken word. So how long have you been doing spoken word?
Since December 21st, 1997.
Oh, I knew it was going to be a long time when you started with 1997?
Yep, man. I was coming in from work. I worked for Child Protective Services, and came in after a long day, put my head down on my desk, started crying. When I lifted my head, I had a pen in my hand, and the first thing I wrote was, "What good is my master's degree if I can't be the master of me?" And after that, everything poured out. It's been pouring out ever since that day.
Wait, hold up a second. Hold fast. What did you say? What was the lines you put down on that paper?
I said, "What good is my master's degree if I can't be the master of me?"
Wow.
That was the first thing I wrote, man. Then after that, because I just finished my master's in social work. So I wrote that line, and then everything else, all the stuff that I'd been through as through childhood trauma. Probably the reason why CPS or social work chose me is because it's just where I was supposed to be, So and I've been kind of started with writing stories about the social work stuff, and then kind of got all that out of my system. Then I went to the love stuff, then I got to the erotic stuff, and then I got to the Black Power stuff, and then next thing you know, I've got books and I'm featured and I have a little repertoire. So it's taking me a lot of places, man, including movies and Amazon Prime and a whole lot of other things. But I always kept this job because I believe in serving the community. So
wait, so you write a little bit of everything: Black Power, erotic, love, wow, man. So do you have any books I can check out, anything on Amazon?
You can Google my name, Michael Guinn, and I have two books there. I have one called Crying in Colors. It was the first book I wrote. It has all the social work stuff, all the political stuff, all the, kind of nature stuff about family. Then I have a book called Moist, and that's the erotic stuff. If I can't take to the church, what I'm saying? I got to put in a whole separate book. I don't want to get, I don't want to get fired, So
right.
So, and then of course, I had a collaboration. My first book, the book called Back Talk, it's like the beginning of Mike Guinn, because I used to rhyme a lot, but I elevated from that. And we all do, as you know, we say in this open up, we elevate. So
Okay. Wow, man, I need to check out both of your books, especially the erotic book that you're talking about, because I like to read. Erotic poetry, because I do love the love poetry also and things like
Right.
that. But it's something also that I love about reading erotic nature or erotic literature. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And
It's tasteful erotica, not it's not all I'm gonna smash up in you, and it's clever eroticism. You know what I'm saying? It sneaks up on you. Bam! I'm pregnant.
wow, I definitely need to check it out. But I really want to dig into something else, because earlier you did mention that you had a traumatic childhood. So I want to hear about that. Like, what was it like for you growing up, man?
Well, you know what? I grew up in deep East Texas, and those who are from Texas know that that means pine trees and country, one light cities. One light and you're through the city, next city. And then a lot of woods, and a lot of free range animals and stuff like that. So I grew up in the country, and it was tough, man. Dad was a super disciplinarian, maybe a little bit more. Mom was kind of an enabler. I had 4 brothers, and they were, even my baby brother were kind of, Mike's a goody two shoes. So I ended up leaving home because I couldn't take it anymore. I ran away a couple of times. So I ended up living with my grandmother. And
Wow.
and so after that, man, everything was a little easier, high school, track star, football, on to college, and then left family back home. Only one brother made it out, and then he went right back in. The next thing you know, it's prison. So had I stayed in that environment where it was very toxic, abusive, very narcissistic, then I may have ended up being a product of my environment and also been jail time. But here I am, bachelor's, master's, author, doing everything right, and I left behind, a lot of stuff. And of course, there was some other type of trauma with cousins and stuff like that, as you can only imagine. So yeah, it was tough, man. And but here I am. I'm still here. Yeah, still doing my thing.
Wow.
I was in a childhood fire at 9, so I have 3rd-degree burns on both arms, but that didn't stop me. I was stabbed twice trying to break up a fight when I was 19, home from college. I was shot twice after leaving a poetry venue back in early 2000 in Sacramento. I was hit by a drunk. I've been through a lot, and I'm just glad I'm here, man. Even if I get off this thing, I'm gonna go shoot some ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm still able to do what I do. I'm old. I ain't dead. But I'm just saying I gotta do my thing. But I've been blessed, brother. I've been blessed, and the reason why is because people like you see value in people like you. And we can't sleep. As much stuff as I've done, I'm a judge for the NAACP, Image Awards poetry category. I'm on a lot of different boards. I have my own nonprofit, but nothing is as valuable as these platforms where people truly elevate, no pun intended, their portfolio by being a part of something as passionate as what you're doing. That's giving people a voice. And so we can't say platforms who don't have the huge audiences won't one day have the huge audiences, but we have to be a part of the growing of that. And so I appreciate and honored to be a part of this platform, sir. So thank you.
Yes, definitely. Hey, writing coach, how you doing?
What's up?
Coach says hey. Wow, so man, you've been through, God, oh my God. I'm thinking about it now, like for you to sit here smiling and for you to sit here and, have such a positive attitude despite all of the BS that you've been through, not just in childhood, but in adulthood too. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty damn traumatic. Like, tell me real quick. I just want to know, what was it like when you got shot at, coming out of a poetry venue? Like,
you know what? Actually, I was in Sacramento, California, and I just hosted an event at the Guinn Theater with my man Terry Moore from Sacramento, who you need to have on the show as well. He's awesome. And my daughter at the time, who was from California, was only 6 months old. So I thought I was gonna go do a show in LA. So I thought I'd stop at her house in South Sacramento, off of MLK. Go figure, get shot off MLK. So you know what I'm saying? So I stopped and I was on the phone with my mom. And I said, so I wasn't at the venue. I'd already left the venue, but somebody had followed me. I was driving a emerald green Ford Mustang convertible, had the license plates, Poet 1. They must have thought I had some money, you know what I'm saying? So they followed me. And so I said, Mom, hold on, people blocking me in. I knew I wasn't going to be at the apartment that long. I was going to say hi, kiss, hug, here are these Pampers, you know, here are these diapers. And next thing I know, the guy comes out, points a gun in my head and pulls the trigger. And the gun misfires. And meanwhile, his buddy was on the other side trying to beat the glass in to get in. So he recocked the gun and shot me once in the thigh. Bullet went straight through. At that time, I just knew that was it. So I started fighting with the gun. And the guy hit me and poured the gun at my chest, and the gun jammed again. So this time he hit something, and he shot me this time in the knee. So when the other guy, by that time, he had unlocked the door, and the other guy was going through my stuff. When they were distracted, I took off running. He shot one more time, but he missed. And when I turned around, there was nobody there, man. I don't know why they didn't take the car. They took a backpack that only had my passport and some CDs. You know, they could have pawned that gun and got more money than I had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I felt blood trickling down in my boot. It was like maybe December of late December in Sacramento. So I got in the car. I saw my daughter and her mother, look out the window. I just got in the car, and when I got back to the car, my mom was still on the phone. It was on the floorboard. I just hung it up and drove myself to the hospital. So that's how that happened. And it just so happens I was actually playing a role called "And the Dream Lives On" about a pastor who was refusing to accept his calling. So that Saturday night, shot. Sunday, released. Monday, on crutches at rehearsal. Tuesday, on a cane at rehearsal. Wednesday, limping at rehearsal. Thursday, opening night, I was there. I made it night. That 5 days after being shot. And every time I went down to my knee, every time it hurt, still fresh, that I teared up. I started crying. Well, they thought I was acting and nominated me for an award, like the best actor, but I was really in pain for them stitches, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, it was so, and shortly after that, I left Sacramento and moved my butt back on to Texas, and here I am, man, doing everything I still can do, with poetry and spoken word, and of course, creative writing.
Oh my God, that's they tried to actually kill you. That wasn't sound like they were just trying to rob you. It sounded like they was trying to commit murder and rob you.
Hey man, the poetry community, man, is vicious, man. They'll try to take you out if you're doing some things. I don't know. I don't know if that was it or not. I don't know if it was jealousy over my girl, and the baby. I don't know what it was, man, because, I was willing to give up anything. Hey, here, take the car. I'll walk home,
Wow.
But I don't want that. They didn't want the cell phone. They didn't want anything. So.
Wait, so because they didn't take the car. They didn't take nothing.
No, the car was still running because I hadn't even had time to turn it off. It was still running. And the phone was in the floorboard. The empty backpack was there with, they took the CDs and the passport. It must have looked like a wallet. I don't know what it was, man. Maybe they wanted to make it look like a robbery, but that was in December of 2003, and I left there after that. So.
Wow, and the fact that you said the gun jammed
twice,
and it didn't even, it didn't even shoot. You know what I mean? Like that's just,
anytime it was aimed up here or here, it jammed. But it shot me in my leg, and then when he shot me in my leg and my knee, the bullets went straight through, didn't hit any bone, nothing. So the bullets were actually lodged in the seat of the car. So that's why the recovery was so quick. And I still have those scars as well. I have a lot of scars from life, scars from everything. But hey, we still here. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I am so glad to still be here at my age and on this platform with you. And they have so many wonderful friends like Sister Goose and Lynette and all. I'm proud of y'all too. So just like you, they are doing some dynamic things, in their own individual areas of expertise and definitely trying to make sure that people like me have a chance. So I really appreciate you seeing value in me being here on the show and able to tell my story because, a lot of people haven't heard it. So I really appreciate that.
Man, a lot of people, I could tell, a lot of people are going to be very, very inspired when they eventually hear this. You know what I mean? Like, when I put this on streaming platforms, they're really going to hear your story. And I could tell you might have just talked somebody off the bridge just now and not even known it.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've been blessed, but, I haven't been perfect. I've done a lot of things we all have that we're not proud of. But if we are allowed to live, we can still, take care of the gift that he gives us and use it from that moment on for what he says to use it for, and it will open up so many doors for me. So, since that time, I haven't been perfect, but I've been a good dad. and I've been a good steward of God's gift. And I just like you have opened up and created platforms where people can come and share and be a part of it. And that's all I can do, man. I can't do nothing else. I can't go back and we can't go back and change anything. And to be honest, there are very few things I would change because it's made me this person that's passionate, that's open-minded, that can appreciate these platforms. So I'm okay with whatever it is. So thank you.
Okay. Man, you mentioned you being a dad. So like, how many kids do you got, man?
I have 2 boys and 1 daughter. Now my oldest son is 36. He's a retired Navy, and my youngest son is 28. And he's here, and he's going to be a police officer, so he went back to school. And then my daughter is only 17. So and she's the daughter that I was going to visit in California the day I got shot, when she was 6 months old. And so she just graduated from high school, and they're moved. The whole family is moving from Reno now to Texas. They're actually leaving on the 27th of this month and coming here. So when I'm gonna put a picture of her up in a minute, because next week is her birthday. She'll be 18, so she'll be enrolled in college here in Texas. So I'm very proud. Again, I've done some things wrong, but I've done some good things right too. So pretty proud of that.
Wow. So you got a 28-year-old son. So you got a son my age.
Wow,
that's crazy.
38, 35, 27, and 18.
Okay. Wow, man. Like I said, you don't look too old. Like, that's why I'm like, wow, bro, you got kids older than me. Like, that's what's up, man. So like, hey, I want to ask you, like, how did fatherhood, how did having kids, change you as a person?
I embraced it. I didn't have the best, as sometimes we, as black men, as men in general, especially black men, it's Russian roulette. It's whether we get a father who really gives a damn and just, does everything he can to embrace the role. And then you get, fathers that were not as fatherly as they should have been. And so you don't have that role model. So I didn't have the role model. But one thing I knew not to do was to cuss a woman, to hit a woman, to disrespect a woman, and to work my butt off for whatever I wanted. Now, I learned that early by doing the opposite of him. So, and in fact, he was a role model, but I just did the exact opposite, and I've turned out okay.
Yeah, you turned out more than okay, man.
I mean, it was
for all the stuff you've been through.
Hey, man, we here, man. We doing our thing.
You didn't just turn out okay. You turned out pretty exceptional.
I still got work to do, man, and a lot of people know me and know my story, and again, it's if you live long enough, you're gonna have some trials and tribulations, but you're also gonna have some triumphs and successes. All you gotta do is learn from those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like my boy Anthony Douglas used to say, all the mistakes I made weren't mistakes when I made them. So.
Okay. I want to get back into the poetry, though. You know what I mean? Before we get too off base. What was your first show like? That very first show when you had to do spoken word, if you can remember.
I remember it was, I think it was 1999. I walked into an open mic at a Barnes and Nobles. Remember now, this is the Mike Guinn that was still doing rhymes and very shy, and and it was part of the Poetry Society of Texas, which means it was more literary and more iambic pentameter and all the stuff. So I was a poet long before I was a spoken word artist. There's a difference now, poetry and spoken word. Sometimes you mix the few together and get this beautiful hybrid, this Amanda Gorman type stuff. But there's poetry, sonnets, villanelles, sestinas, tankers, all that stuff. Then you have spoken word, which is bam. You know what I'm saying? So I was still doing poetry back then. So very nervous, very shy, still reading from paper. To be or not to be. But now I'm this guy. So there you go.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So like, when it comes down to poetry and your spoken word, so like, what do you think, in your opinion, that you are just a little bit better at, if you had to pick?
I'm a little bit better at poetry.
Okay.
I love the metaphors, the similes, I loved I love the use of assonance and alliteration. I love staying disciplined on those line lengths. Like if you have for example, haiku, for example, is 575. I love staying within that discipline and still getting that message out there. That is the poetry to me, to be able to say the same thing, but in less words. To me, that is the brilliance of poetry. So I love the discipline of writing, but poetry is more about the written work. And every once in a while, you have a poet that can do it that way and still stay true to his message. But I'm better at that. Now, I'll dabble in spoken word. I've had some successes with, poetry slams, and I've been on the final stage twice, and I've won major competitions and a lot of money, but poetry is how I've gotten into the NAACP Image Awards, or the Poetry Society of Texas, or, Zawadi Writers, or some of the literary groups that have a higher profile than, say, Poetry Slam. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Okay. So, some people, like you said, when it comes down to poetry and spoken word, some people are more of a poet. They're not really a performer. And then some people are way better at spoken word and actually, connecting with an audience.
Yes, sir.
So, because what I noticed is that with spoken word, it's like you have to have some type of emotion. Oh, I like your dog. How old is your dog?
It's vicious, man. Bro, get it. This dog won't bite. Get out me.
But yeah, man, when it comes down to poetry and spoken word, some people cannot, I guess, connect with the audience as much, because I notice what the difference is when I go to poetry slams out here in Phoenix. When I see some people, they're just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just kind of just reading it, and then some people are actually performing, and they're enacting that, and they're actually bringing that emotion out of themselves. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing spoken word, you have to emotionally get involved in what you wrote. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if you have to, but I know that sometimes if you're doing it right, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Like right now, you can tell by the way you're speaking that you're passionate about it. You really want your audience to get a great interview. You really want to make sure that the artist knows they feel safe and supported. So you can't help that. That's just what's built inside you. And sometimes when, in my opinion, for me, example, it takes me, I want to make sure that what I say, I want to make sure what I say says what I meant to say. If that connects to an audience, fine. But by the time I finish writing it, it does, because I've perfected what I wanted to say in a way, that I know if it resonates with me, I know it's going to resonate with the listener. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I target anybody. I just want to get what's in me. I had this thing I say where I say I had to get it out of my system because it was clogging up my wisdom. So I do that. And if I do that right, then everything else is going to happen, But, it takes a while for us to, for example, when you do if you were doing a workshop with brand new people, and they're shy because they don't know, they're not familiar with you. They don't know who you are. But away from that, they're the ones that's loud in the cafeteria. The teacher got to sit them out in the hall. So what you're trying to do is make them feel comfortable with being themselves. So what I've learned was just be comfortable with being myself. So, and it's worked. So that's spoken word.
Yes. And you have to have confidence if you're going to do spoken word. Because if you don't have confidence, like I said, I've seen some people freeze up completely. You know what I mean? Couldn't even get a sentence out. So I really, really definitely believe that you have to have some type of confidence, and you can't be too shy when you're doing spoken word. So, I'm sorry?
I am shy.
But you're not, you're shy, but at the same time, you're not overly shy to where you can't go up on stage. You know what I mean? Or if you do go up on stage, you completely freeze.
Yeah, if I'm going to be in this, and you know this, then we have to be able to go 100% in. We have to go in, and that means go in here. And if we can't half do that, because we're not doing the art justice. We're not giving the art. We're not giving the message its due, and we're not giving the audience what they deserve and expect. And that's someone who's going to be completely transparent and vulnerable in their work. And so, that's what I've learned to do. No matter how shy I am, because that's what I should be doing. The art deserves that.
Yes, man. I 1,000% agree with that. So, I want to ask you personally, what's one of your favorite poems that you wrote or you spit?
You know what? One of my favorite poems, I have two. I have one that's about, it's a personal piece that I wrote for my mom. And then I have one that's I wrote sitting, looking outside at palm trees, thinking about pine trees, about this girl that I was in love with. And so it's two of them. One is called Bastard, one is called Every Day. And those are the two poems that people request the most, even though I do tons of other stuff. But those are my two favorite pieces. But I would have to, those would be the ones. Yeah.
Did you spit Every Day on Clubhouse or the other poem on Clubhouse?
I did.
Okay, and how did the audience react?
They loved it. I think I sold about 5 books back channel.
Wow.
Yeah, I've sold a lot of books on Clubhouse, and I've had a lot of support. Lynette, or the writing coach, and Sister Goose, who I'm actually acting. A lot of things have happened. So I'm acting in a play she's doing. And there's so many people, man, that I've met. But not only am I selling books from doing these poems, but I'm also getting opportunity to be on podcasts and shows and conferences. So, but yeah, that was a good reaction from that piece. Yeah, because it's playful, clever, it's erotic, but not too crazy.
Right, exactly. Wait, I want to, I want to get up in your business just a little bit when it comes down to that second poem. So, tell me a little bit about that love story and how that poem came about.
Well, I was living in Texas, and
Okay.
I met this. I was younger, and I met this girl, and she was a college basketball player, and I used to drive from Texas to Arkansas to see her. And I fell in love with her. I thought she fell in love with me. We had all kinds of fun. You know what I'm talking about? All kinds of fun.
Yeah, I know.
But I also knew that she had another side. She was bisexual. And when she was getting ready to make a decision about where she's going to go or where she's going to live, or what kind of job she was take, she decided that she was going to pursue the other lifestyle. And it broke my heart. Broke my heart, man. So I left everything and moved to Sacramento. That's how I got there. And I was on the beach. I was head down. That's just a mess. I lost about 30 pounds. I think all I did was drink wine and eat animal crackers. You know what I'm saying? I used to lock my door and crawl out the window. I didn't, because she had a key. I couldn't get it back. I didn't want her to check it on me. And so yeah. I remember that. And years later, she came back and asked me, could we have another chance? I said, nope, you only get one chance to break my heart. I'm not going through that again,
Right.
So,
yeah.
But that's where that poem came from. I like to believe that every time I read that poem, she heard it because it was her favorite poem as well.
Wow. Man, you need to write a book about your life story, fam.
Oh, man.
What, you think you need to make 2 parts or something? That's how big it is.
That book writing thing, man. You can write poems now, but that book writing thing, man, that's a whole different skill set. And maybe I can dictate it or translate it to somebody, and they can do the writing, and I'll just be a consultant. But I don't. That's a skill right there. Part of the reason why I haven't done it, because I know it's going to be very. It's going to bring back some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm ready to face myself that way.
Okay. Well, hopefully I get to read that book, because all the life stories that you're telling me so far, I'm like, yo, like, I really need to teach. Because, when it comes down to your life and all the things that you've been through, like I said, like, somebody could really get inspired by that, man. I
appreciate that, man. Put some light on me right there. Oh, there I am right there. Light on me. I got that little mellow challenge, you know what I'm saying? People can't stand down,
Right. I want to ask you real quick. So, like, when it comes down to your poetry, like, what's one of the biggest impacts you've made on somebody else's life?
I can say when it comes down to my poetry and being able to I think the biggest impact is that when I've shared certain poems, I know that it impacts the men, because it's about vulnerability. It's about that transparency. It's okay for this big guy to get up here and share a part of his life that men don't normally talk about, So that's the biggest impact. But also for women to see that there are men out there who are willing to be vulnerable, and it gives them hope that perhaps. Hey, son. My son on there. What's up, Pop? What's up, son? What's up, son? All right. So it gives them hope that that there are men out there that are willing to open up and be completely honest and open about whatever they've been through. So I know that there's been a couple of conferences that I went through that were like male survivor conferences, and I've done that. It's just been a room full of sobbing men, and then after that, do a workshop, and they're all willing to open up now. So I know I was able to see the immediate impact of me sharing and being open. So yeah.
Okay. So you've been doing poetry since 1997, or spoken word since the 90s. So I want to ask you, is there like an embarrassing stage moment, like where you kind of like forgot the words, or you had to freestyle or anything like that?
Yeah, I remember. By the way, I love you, son. Love you. I remember my son did the beats behind a lot of my music. He's an excellent musician. One time I was at a poetry slam, and the girl I was telling you about was there, and she came with her new girl. And I remember I had lost all that weight. I was skin and bones, and I did this poem called "Paralyzed." And I forgot it, and I freestyled it, and I was trying. And then the thing is, I was trying to make the slam team to go to nationals. So I just forgot all about the slam team and lost the poem. I took off my shirt. I was just naked. I just bare. That was very embarrassing. So that was embarrassing. So that was a long time ago, like 2001, 2002. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I forgot.
Hopefully nobody has video of that. That's the only thing I bet you praying about. Nobody got clips.
No videos. It was on flip phones back then. No videos.
Okay, because YouTube wasn't a thing back then. So luckily it didn't happen in the late 2000s. Otherwise, you'd be on YouTube right now.
I'd be on YouTube right now. It'd be one of the most embarrassing things ever. And I probably would. If somebody had showed that, I would have quit poetry. I wouldn't be here now.
Oh my God! Wow, man. So, man, that is quite embarrassing.
That's that love, man. Love would do that, man. Love would do it.
Wow, bro. So, like, I want to ask you, we couldn't do a lot of things. We couldn't go to a lot of open mics during the pandemic. So I want to ask you, besides Clubhouse, how else did you keep busy during that time?
Well, I started doing Zooms. And to be honest, I still did open mics. They were just mask only. They were mask. So I've never stopped doing open mics. I've never stopped doing live shows. I've never stopped doing workshops. It's just been a limited crowd and mass crowd and social distance. I'm fortunate that I've been able to connect with some great venue owners who understood that if they didn't keep it moving, they would lose their building. And so I was able to continue to do what I would do, although limited, kind of, minimal like, but it was still kept it going. That way, when we finally had this opening, it just, we were able to, to continue to do what we do the way we did it before. And we just had a show last night that was packed. I just had an outdoor open mic that was 156 people there. It was incredible. And it was outdoor. Wow. We have it every month, and we've never stopped doing it because it's outdoors, so everybody's able to space out. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. So I've been able to mix, the virtual and the live performances, but be very clever and, of course, safe about it, and still give people, what they want.
Okay. Wow. So, like I said, it's great that you kept busy and kept going to open mics, even virtual open mics over Zoom, because I know the pandemic was hard on everybody. So I want to ask you, like, when it comes down to, your job, did you do that online or anything like that?
Our job had us working from home, we actually worked from home, but we still made home visits. And if we couldn't make the home visits, when we did, it was, mask, all the protocol, hand sanitizer or whatever it was. But when we didn't, it was virtual, FaceTime, whatever, I even did a couple of Instagram chat, whatever I could do to connect with our youth and get them the services, drive it up the door, whatever. But then we went back to 1 day a week, then 2 days a week, and then now we're back to 3 days a week. But we may go back now to 2 days a week, And they sent us home first because us 50 plus people, they sent us home thinking we was all fragile and stuff. But here I am doing what I do.
Yes, yes. And to be honest with you, you've been through. I'm sorry.
We found creative ways. We found creative ways to continue to work and serve our youth and our young adults. So we have to make sure they have a place to stay. We have to make sure they have food. We have to make sure they make their appointments. It was very tricky, but we were connected with a lot of organizations that understood, our vision for service for youth and we only work with youth who have a mental illness. So we had to be there. We had to.
Okay. Wow, man. I love the fact that you're working with, people like that. You know what I mean? Like it's really inspiring me, and the fact that you've been through so much that you turned that around to start helping people is beautiful, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. And I only want to ask you 2 more questions because we do got to get up out of here very soon.
All right.
I want to ask you real quick. You can sum it up. Name one of the lowest parts of your life, like the lowest moments of your life, and how did you overcome that? Because I know you had a lot of lows from what you told me.
One of the lowest points in my life would be, letting down people close to me who depend on me. And I had that moment where I've let some people down, or where I've not stepped up to do what I was supposed to do because I got this whole poetry omnipotence, I'm the great Mike Guinn, I'm the slam champion. I started to believe my own hype, and that, when you do that, you make mistakes. You think you're invisible. You think you can't be touched. And you forget about the poetry and where it came from and where you came from with it. And so now that I'm back here, I'll never forget that. But I've been at some low points because, that bravado is just as deadly as, being in love and not having anybody to love back,
Wow. Oh, man. Wow, man. This is a great interview. I really love this interview, bro. So I want to ask you, this is the final question. What advice do you have for anybody who has been through a lot of things like yourself, who are still trying to overcome it?
My advice would be is that don't give up. Just stay true to who you are and what you believe in. If you are a poet, musician, a painter, whatever it is, stay true to that. It's going to bring you out of it. It's going to be very therapeutic. Buy a dog. I did. You know what I'm saying? And love that person. But mainly, just love yourself. Just know that this is just a moment. It's not the end of your life. Just keep telling yourself that I'm not the person that this moment says I am. I am better than that. Time is going to heal everything. Time is going to move.
Yep.
Next thing you know, it's years later, and you're still doing what you love. You still hear people love you, and as many people that may be disappointed in you, there are a lot of people who love you and will give you another chance, and they'll continue to love you and care about you because they know that deep down you are the person that they know you are, and that's a person who gives and supports and just cares about people, and just all you gotta do is just keep being that person and learn from your mistakes. That's all you gotta do.
Beautiful piece of advice, man. And like I said, a lot of ears are going to hear this, and a lot of ears are going to be saved by your words. So thank you so much for doing this interview. This is one of my favorite interviews. So thank you so much for, taking your time out of your day to do this live with me. Thank you so much. This interview will be available within the next 48 to 72 hours. Thank you guys so much. Y'all enjoy y'all day.
Peace, y'all. Love y'all. Love you, brother. Thanks so much, man.
No problem. Love you too.